Anywhere a heated debate simmers over the differences between Democrats and Republicans, there is invariably a chorus of intellectually lazy voices declaring there is no difference between the two parties anymore. These voices always belong to Republicans who have only Limbaugh's lies and the belligerence of Beck to support their arguments, and when those arguments no longer win the day in the face of widely known, indisputable facts, they don't accept those facts and rethink their positions. No, they withdraw from the debate, keeping their opinions safe from fact and reason because the truth threatens their ability to continue believing what they want to believe. That's when you hear the chorus. Before they run and hide, they always take this parting shot. The Democrats are just as bad. As justifying arguments go, that one's pretty weak. The premise is that both parties are corrupt, so both parties are the same. Corrupt Democrats, corrupt Republicans. What's the difference? Well, there's a huge difference between Republican corruption that's seasoned for generations under the tutelage of the wealthy elite and the naive, disorganized, petty corruption that Democrats bring to the table. Democrats pander to the social liberals, and when they spend our money, they spend it here at home. It doesn't matter where the government spends our money, as long as it's spent here at home. Republicans have consistently taken our money overseas to wage one war after another, whereas Democrats invest our money here on things like health care and infrastructure. As long as it's spent here, we benefit. They could dump truckloads of our tax dollars right in the gutter, and our economy would grow as people stuffed their pockets with it and went to pay their bookies or drug dealers, who in turn pay their bills, feed their kids, or purchase loads of worthless crap from the local 5 and dime. Any stupid, corrupt, ill-conceived pork barrel boondoggle that Democrats misappropriate our money for will benefit us infinitely more than anything the Republicans would do with it. That, my friends, is a huge difference. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, conservative or liberal, the party that deserves the support of good Americans is easily identified by one thing. The policies they promote protect the weak from the strong, the poor from the wealthy, and give voice to those who cannot speak for themselves. Republicans are aligned with the very wealthy, and they have shown no compassion for the poor, who always bears the greatest burden when wealth flows to the top. Republican policies always hurt those who are struggling in our economy because Republicans see everything in terms of profit loss, asset or liability. If they can't profit from it, it isn't important. To be fair, I don't think Republicans really understand the insidious, self-perpetuating nature of poverty. They've never been exposed to an environment where every issue is urgent and every decision critical to where you sleep tonight, whether you will eat. Even so, they seem willfully ignorant of government's responsibility to promote the general welfare, and they are far too willing to ignore preventable suffering. It is true, I believe, that many, if not most, politicians are, or soon will be, corrupt. Public service just seems to foster a contempt for integrity. People come to corruption from different backgrounds, and there's some value in knowing how each comes to his or her corruption if you want to know their likelihood of doing the right thing, even if it's for the wrong reasons. Those who believe that the corruption in both parties is equally destructive haven't looked very closely at how or why political parties abuse their power. Republicans abuse power because they feel entitled to it. They were raised with it, groomed for it. They understand it, and when they wield it, they do so with cunning and foresight. They're brilliant, really, in a supervillain kind of way, with their mastery of message and manipulation of issues. They've honed their blades razor sharp, and the results are truly impressive to those who admire power, frightening to those of us who know where this kind of power always leads. The likelihood of a corrupt Republican unwittingly doing the right thing, it's almost nil. By contrast, Democrats abuse power because they've never had it. They don't understand it, and in the heady light of public service, they become drunk on the idea that they are somehow working for the people simply by struggling to understand the complexities of our political power structures. They're naive, inept, and completely unprepared for the environment they find themselves in. This incompetence is equally scary, but it's more of a child running into traffic kind of scary. Even if Democrats are just as corrupt, and they do what they do for all the wrong reasons, the possibility that they'll do something that helps this country and its citizens, but it isn't all that unlikely. Republicans do more harm promoting policies they honestly believe will work, despite 50 years of absolute proof that they don't. They deregulate financial markets, which always screws the middle class. They pump so much money into the Pentagon that they can't and don't keep track of it all. They dismantle every social program or government agency that helps the poor, or inspects our food, or keeps our water safe to drink. And worst of all, they deny the validity of science. They demonize scientists, making it almost impossible to know what to believe for an entire generation of kids who are growing up thinking that scientific fact is somehow a matter of political opinion. They exploded the debt and lied to us about why we sent so many Americans to die in wars that benefited themselves. And then they stuck our kids with the bill for it. Democrats, they keep telling us, are just as corrupt as the most corrupt Republicans. But the only policies that have created jobs or lowered the deficit in the last 50 years were Democrat policies. Despite Republican warnings that Democrats would destroy our economy, it was Democrats that presided over the longest peacetime economic expansion in history, creating over 20 million jobs. Jobs that disappeared when Republican policies and Republican wars destroyed our economy. No difference between Democrats and Republicans? There's a huge difference.